I think we definitely have quorum, but we don't have our accounting department staff yet.
Okay, working it.
And we can jump on the agenda if you want to start. We can come back to um, the financial report once Whitney joins us.
Okay.
I'll
Well,
text her right now.
if we're ready, we can start. Today's the 25th, 2022. I've got 401. And the first thing, any public comments that I don't see anyone not on our board. Mike, I see your hand is raised.
Go ahead with a comment.
Go ahead, yes.
Okay, hi. Greetings. I just wanted to bring to the attention of this group and ask you to take a look at a couple issues. The first one actually is the foundation building. And the foundation, of course, is a separate organization from the junior college. Of course, it's related, but it is separate. And therefore, the agreements that are made with the foundation need to be fair value agreements done on an arm's length kind of basis. And what we're hearing in the public is that there's now a $2 million building for the foundation, which has 6 employees. And that sounds like crazy. And so the question then becomes, has this committee looked at the rental agreement? And I would think the rental would be somewhere north of $20,000 a month. I mean, that sounds pretty crazy. The offices and overhead are never popular in a bond issue. So that language, offices, overhead, disappears when you write a bond issue. And that happened in this case. So we didn't have a lot in there saying, hey, we're going to build a bunch of offices. But what does show is swing space. But that swing space now seems to all have become the foundation. Now, maybe it's all in the language and we're not communicating with the public very well, but we're telling the public $2 million for a foundation building. I also will note that the state stepped in when the state parks, the individual state parks had their not-for-profit agencies or organizations tied to them to collect money and donations. And the state stepped in and said, no, those have got to be separate organizations. You can't have the state parks controlling the not-for-profit. And I think probably the same sort of thing applies to a college where it needs to be separate. So we should take a look at that. And then this committee, since we're working under the 55% rule, we got 55% of the voters to approve this, not 2/3. We're under tighter rules about what we can spend the money on if it's not specific in the documentation. So we should take a look at that. And I hope this committee is not allowing a loophole to be found that allows this to get through in contrast to really the public intent and the public goodwill. The second issue I'd like to bring to the organization here is the concept of naming. And we used to have an old school kind of rule, a standard, that we never named anything after anybody was currently on a board or generally even somebody who was living. Those were honors for people who were either emeritus or even much more common, they were deceased. And these were honors to be applied then. And what we're finding now is that we're applying names of current board members. And these buildings are being called your building in the meetings. Well, how do we get good oversight, good cost controls when we keep talking about your building in this process? Those old concepts, the humility of the old days seems to have been thrown away. There's even a suggestion that people are asking to have buildings named for themselves. Come on, that's not what we're about. Let's have some humility. Let's get the job done, serve the community. And if we've done good work and we get honored, either when we become emeritus or deceased, okay, so be it. So I'm going to ask you to take a look at a couple issues. And again, that is first of all, the foundation building and then this naming convention. Thank you.
Any comment, Seraphin, Frank?
We will take a look into those comments. So thank you.
Okay, all right. I think there are no other public comments, then we'll move on to the approval of the minutes. We all received some.
I move for the approval of minutes,
Yes,
the date. I don't have right in front of me here, but January 25th. So I make the motion.
there's a motion on the table to accept the minutes. And I think it's the 24th rather than the 25th. Is that correct?
Yes.
That's correct. It's the 24th.
Okay.
24th.
All right. Are there any comments? If not, we move to approve. I need a second to.
I'll second the motion to approve the minutes.
All right. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 I think the ayes have it. Any nays? Abstain? All right. Minutes approved. Ladies and gentlemen, the first piece of business is that I've been chair for a while. It's up to if I wanted to continue as chair of this committee. Before I put my hat in the ring, I would ask if there's anyone else who would consider taking over the chairmanship. Don't all of you speak at once.
Only if necessary.
Well, if no one is stepping into it, I would consider doing it again for 1 year. If there's no concern with that, I'd like a motion to let me be chair again for a year.
I'll make a motion to have Greg be chair again for another year.
You were quick at doing
Yes,
that. You weren't as quick as raising your hand to be chair, but nevertheless.
Other than a voluntary chair.
A second?
Second.
Good. All right. Thank you. I will do that. The same situation is in play for Michael Contreras. And he is the vice chair. And Mike, are you online here? That's not.
Yes,
I am, Greg.
Okay, thank you.
Can you hear? Yeah.
I can hear you now. Yeah, just fine. He's in the same situation. And Michael, would you consider continuing as vice chair for another year?
If I could take about 10 minutes to explain the features and benefits of the position to the rest of the community, I'm sure that there would be somebody much more qualified than me that would love to have it. But absent that time or those volunteers, I'll do it if nobody else will.
Well, based on the faces that I'm looking at, there's no real rush to be vice chair. So I would consider a motion to have Mike continue for 1 year. If I can see a first and a second, I'd appreciate it.
I'll second that, or first
All
it.
I'll second it.
We have it both. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 And nays. All right, Mike, you and I have been drafted to the big leagues for 1 more year. So you'll be the Mets and I'll continue to be the Yankees. So.
Oh, yeah, Nets have got to come through tonight. Come on, KD.
Wrong sport. Anyway, quarterly report is what I see next, gentlemen and ladies. So Seraphin, if you'd take it from here, I certainly would appreciate it.
Thank you. So I will turn it over to President Chung for his update.
That's
Oh,
what
did I
happens.
miss?
That's what happens
didn't-
when Yankee fans always want to ignore Met fans.
I-
They have to recognize-
I apologize for missing you, sir. I apologize for missing you.
I got to earn my keep today.
Max, I thought he said next.
No. No. Okay.
You started happy hour too soon, Mr. Goutre. So good afternoon, everybody. It's so good to see everybody. We're entering the home stretch. I'd say there's probably another month until May 28th, where we have our commencement. And that commencement will be held at Bailey Field. It's going to be in person. And I'm pleased to say that the commencement speaker will be Mayor Jackie Elwood. Jackie is a mayor of Roanoke Park. She's also a graduate of the college. And I think we'll all enjoy hearing her story. So I know our distinguished chair, Mr. Granderson, is a resident of Roanoke Park as well. I think it's time we pay Roanoke Park, RP, some attention. They're an up and coming city in Sonoma County. I think we tend to be more Santa Rosa and Petaluma centric. So I think we got to give some love to Roanoke Park. And I'm looking forward to hearing her speak. Other things going on, I'm pleased to announce, you might have read in the paper, we were able to negotiate with the help and support of our district attorney, Jill Ravitch, a $6 million grant to SRJC, $5 million to go to our firefighter program, and $1 million to our fire vitality program, which is out at Shone Farm. So this is part of the settlement for the fire in 2019, and it'll provide much needed funds so that we can expand the number of firefighters that we currently train. And so we're looking at building another tower. We're looking at expanding the footprint, possibly at the Public Safety Training Center. And so it's really couldn't happen at a better time, because as you might have read, the number of firefighters are retiring and leaving the field. And there's a real shortage, especially in the next few years, just like with teachers and with nurses. And it's all about the graying of Sonoma County, more senior citizens coming here. So I'm pleased to announce that. The state budget looks healthy this year. State revenues are holding strong. There's the May revise coming up in a few weeks, and we anticipate that there's going to be close to a $25 to $30 billion surplus, which I was part of a group of college presidents that represented community colleges that were trying to get funded for our student housing project. It's ironic. We're the only shovel-ready project right now on the ground in the entire state. And when we applied for money, we didn't get funded, even though we were qualified. About 15 of us were qualified but not funded. And all 15 of us stood together and went to the legislature and said, please fund us. And Senator McGuire, who's now the majority leader, is supporting that. And hopefully that will happen. Other things happening at the campus is many of our Measure H projects are coming to completion. I'll leave that up to Seraphin to discuss. And we're just looking forward to getting students to graduation, finishing, completing. And we anticipate starting in summer and fall, more and more of the campus will reopen. And we're looking at probably 2/3 of the classes being taught in person and maybe a third online. So that concludes my report. I'd be happy to answer any questions that any of the CBOC members have.
Okay, now we'll have the quarterly bond expenditures report by Whitney Schultz.
Hello, thank you. So today we have for you the financial report from the third quarter, which ended March 31st. The expenditures during the third quarter of 2021 were $17,986,000. $967,782, which brings our overall total expenditures to $241,165,504. The highlights from the third quarter include 4.3 million in expansion, new construction, and within that is 2 million for the W. Terry Lindley Center for STEM and 1.3 million for property acquisition. We also had 9 million in the third quarter for renovation and modernization, which included 6.67 million for CAD renovations and 1.4 million for the Garcia Hall renovation. We had 601,000 in expenditures for information and technology, 1.7 million for infrastructure, maintenance and repairs, which included 1.1 million for energy conservation and sustainability projects. And then we had expenditures of 1.58 million on health and safety improvements, all of which were for access control. And I'm happy to take questions, comments, concerns.
I have a question on property acquisition. What was that activity? I see a 1.3.
Yeah, that is the 1919 Illinois Avenue, and Seraphin might be able to add a little bit about that. We have not finalized. I'm actually not sure exactly what I can say. I'm going to leave this to Seraphin to.
Yes, I'll answer that. So that actually includes two transactions. We acquired a residential property across Elliott at the Santa Rosa campus. That's 1919 Illinois. As you know, part of the Measure H or any bond program, including Measure H, whenever we see opportunities to acquire property that may support the district in the future to expand, we do that. So that was that acquisition. The other expenditure, we are currently in the process of closing escrow on the acquisition of the Southwest Center, 950 South Wright Road. That's the same property that we have been leasing from Wright Elementary School District. So there have been deposits to open escrow on that. And so you're seeing some of that on this report. And just so that you are aware, you will see it in the next report because we'll complete the transaction in the next couple of days. I mean, this could be any day as that we close escrow. That property at 950 South Wright Road, the Southwest Center, was purchased for $5.2 million. Which is part of the Measure H plan in a long-term college plan as well.
So just to be clear, that initial payment that we made for Southwest Center is actually the $157,500 on the line item for Southwest Center modular building. So that one is within the site acquisition of Southwest Center.
I have one other question too, and I'm glad David is with us. We've spent a large number on sustainability and energy projects. Just wondering how that's impacted the budget as far as energy savings.
Yeah, it's a very good question, Rick. So far, just on the solar side, we've saved close to $1.1 million in annual electricity expenditures at the college. And we've seen our cost avoidance because of the increase in PG&E costs from the 2017 Tubbs fire and Kincaid fire has increased escalation of electricity costs significantly. So we're seeing further savings. And we're working on trying to quantify the gas savings from the new central plant that's just coming online soon.
Okay, that hasn't come online yet. So
by the end of this month.
Oh, okay, great. Thanks, David.
I have a question about the Luther Burbank Auditorium, the renovation. How's that coming along? And also, what will be the ultimate use of the auditorium what purpose? Is it community, just students, or, we have the Luther Burbank Center for the Arts. We have something in Roanoke Park. So it has a beautiful center there. How's that going to complement what we already have in that community?
So the main purpose of the auditorium is for the academic theater arts department, academic program. So we have one of the top theater arts program in the country. I'd like to brag about that. They just actually opened with the Wedding Singer on Friday, something that was scheduled to be presented 2 years ago when we were shut down by COVID. And so the main user is the theater arts department. Then it's also used by our music department for their concerts, and also our dance department for their performances. Outside of those, the rest of the college uses it for other major events, as well as regular classes. Now that we've had the pandemic, those two theaters have actually become a lot more popular and useful because of the size and the number of seats that are available. Those two facilities also have state-of-the-art technology to be able to teach in them as classrooms. So once we're done with that, we really don't have the opportunity to share outside of the college, but just like every other space at the college, they are available for use by the community. But I think that we're about 110% of use by the college.
Awesome. Just quickly, the publicity of the different events and shows. Maybe it's just me, and maybe I'm not on a mailing list for that, but I haven't seen much about, the different shows. And when I drive down Mendocino, I see it. But then other than that, like I said, maybe I'm not on a mailing list that sends info out.
We've been putting ads, Jaime, in the Press Democrat, and we've been having featured reports from Dan Taylor, who covers theater for the Press Democrat. And then we also have online ads at different venues. I could get you the list of where we're advertising, but most of the papers like the Bohemian and local papers, we've been advertising whenever we have major performances from our theater arts department. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, and David can also probably tell you that it's probably the most used facility on our campus. I mean, students are in there almost 24/7. So it's a heavily used building.
Awesome. Thank you.
Can I jump in real quick? I had forgotten in my report is that Schoen Farm is celebrating its 50th anniversary, and we're going to be having a celebration on Saturday, May 14th, starting at 3:30. And I'm going to invite all the CBOC members. It's a free event, and it's an opportunity for you to go up and visit the farm if you haven't been there. It's beautiful. There's going to be food and beverages and just a celebration. So I hope all of you would consider coming, and Zara will be sending all of you a invitation forthcoming, and also for all of our facility staff as well. Okay, thank you.
Okay, if there are no more questions for Whitney, we will begin with our Measure H project updates. Hopefully everybody can see my screen with the cover on there. Yes, okay. So we'll begin with Ryan.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. So the Schoen Farm AG Portables update. In April, the punch list items were addressed and computer furniture was installed. And then also we had security hardware scheduled to be delivered and installed at the end of April. So that's going on pretty soon. Next slide. For the Schoen Farm new greenhouse, we had utilities installed and the building erection crew began at the beginning of April. And then also we have siding work underway. And next we have the Schoen Farm produce processing facility. We had the cooler Kupka bids received on April 13th. 2 bids were received, and Kirby Construction was a low bid at $188,520.55. And next we have the Public Safety Training Center update. This project is still in the design phase. We had 50% construction documents received in mid-April, and they're currently being reviewed for comment by district stakeholders. And next we have Garcia Hall renovations. In April, insulation and drywall were installed. And then we also have HVAC and hydronic work continuing as well.
Thank you, Ryan. Next we have Heather.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So we are wrapping up the CAD Phase 2 project. You can see that all the fields are complete and they've been used by the softball and baseball teams all season this spring. The soccer field sod is getting established and will be available for the soccer team this summer. And then at the pool, this is an older photo of the pool. It is now filled, and we will be performing the punch list this Friday, and then handing it over at the end of May to the athletic department, and the ribbon cutting is scheduled for June 23rd. And as part of this project, we also built a new field house there. We are also going to be doing the punch list on this building on Friday. We are waiting for the wood lockers to arrive in May, and then we'll be turning over this building to the athletic department as well at the end of May, early June. And I'm also working on the Towser Gymnasium renovation. We actually submitted our plans to the Division of the State Architect this afternoon. And next, right after the spring semester, we'll start collecting data for our EDCR, that's the Evaluation and Design Criteria Report for DSA for the full seismic retrofit. And then we plan to get approval sometime this fall from the Division of the State Architect, and then submit the plans to the Chancellor's office, since we are getting state funding for this project. And we're looking at starting construction in May or June of 2023.
Thank you, Heather. Daniel Mendez will report for our project manager, Rhonda, who's on vacation this week. Daniel?
Everyone. So I'm updating you from the last time we met. So that was January. So since then, we've had all structural elements up, and we've had welding continued and completed throughout January. And here's a couple of pictures showing that. And then the second slide, we're putting all the stairwells in place. We're also doing that at the same time, completing welding. Next slide, please. Here, we're putting all the embeds into the concrete. So you can see the rebar. We also see electrical knockouts and poke throughs and floor boxes being put in place before all the concrete was being poured. And as you can see on the right-hand side, they're doing a pour there, and we've completed all concrete pours throughout the building. Next slide. Here's a continuation of pouring and finishing the floors. And in completing all the floors, we've also completed all the concrete on the stairwells. We removed the scaffold, the temporary scaffold stairs that helps us go up and down the building. Now we can use the permanent stairwell for that. And in the incoming weeks, we will be performing fireproofing and layout for the walls. I think that completes.
Thank you, Daniel.
You're welcome.
Next is Amy.
Good afternoon. The Bertolini Student Health Services project is complete, and the notice of completion is going before the board, the May board, for approval. The campus-wide security project, we held the final walk for the Santa Rosa campus, and the installation of the hardware is for Clover Hall is scheduled for May 6th. And the final completion items are Garcia Hall security and a sliding door at Petaluma campus and the AC repair for the Hale building, which will be done in the next weeks. Baker Hall lab renovation is in the closeout phase also. Foundation new office building is, the picture here is a fairly updated status of where it's at. The framing is scheduled to be complete by the end of this month, and it's going to be followed with the interior rough-in of mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. And we're still on target for our date of January 2023 for completion. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. And in the spirit of Earth Day, Earth Month, David is going to share with us a little bit more information on our sustainability projects. David?
Thanks, Seraphin. Good afternoon, everyone. So the pictures you see here are our new central plant, providing highly efficient cooling and heating to the new pool, existing pool, and a number of buildings. And on the right-hand side, you see our new 50,000 gallon reclaimed water tank. This is capturing water from the basement of the Quinn Swim Center, which when was built, hit a natural spring. So we are capturing that water now. The tank is actually filled, and we already tested it using that water for the soccer field, and are continuing to finish punch list items and commission the systems to validate that they are operating per their program and their logic. And commissioning is occurring through this month and into May. Also wanted to share an update on the SRJC microgrid project. So we've been doing weekends, Sundays, late at night testing on the microgrid. I'm happy to say actually yesterday we did some testing early in the morning, and we were successfully able to separate from PG&E the entire Santa Rosa campus, all 22 buildings, and hold the campus without any computers turning off, not even a blink within lights. We held it for 30 minutes, and then we reconnected to PG&E seamlessly. And so we are beginning to really validate our ability to transition away from the utility and then reconnect. We've also been taking the project on kind of our road show. We've given presentations to UC Berkeley's Sustainability Department. This summer, we are presenting at the American Council on Energy Efficient Economies on the use of microgrids of design and their benefits for wildfire resiliency and reliability, as well as different conferences throughout the next year. And we are currently working on a 1 year of measurement and verification, followed by a number of lengthy reports that I have to write and submit to the California Energy Commission. Next slide. Partly tied into the microgrid project, but for other systems across the district, we are utilizing a number of funding sources to upgrade all of the controllers for the facilities heating, cooling, and ventilation system with pre-programmed event modes. This will allow the campus to optimize its energy use at its buildings for demand response based off of utility signals. It will also allow us, in case there's a wildfire in the area, to instead of going building to building, centrally close all of the outside air intakes to prevent wildfire smoke from entering the buildings, as well as developing COVID modes for all district buildings, which allows us to purge all of the existing air and bring in 100% outside air into spaces before they are occupied based off of class schedules. In addition, we have been installing sub-meters. So as part of the energy and sustainability package, we have been using funds to install sub-meters to not only validate that the projects we are doing are providing cost savings to the district, as well as energy savings and greenhouse gas emission savings. We are also using it to really understand how our systems are operating. So what you can see here is at the Santa Rosa campus, we were able to break down building by building what buildings are using the most electricity, and that is further allowing us to develop new projects, new operations that can streamline and allow us to operate our buildings efficiently. Next slide. On the same line with those meters, we are actually validating that the buildings that we are designing per our facilities master plan standards in actual operation meet those standards. And so this picture here shows Kundi Hall, which is one of our newest buildings. And the design energy use intensity for the building was 28. And after 2 years of operations, we have validated that it is meeting exactly that target, which means that our standards are working, and we are, over the life of the building, now have a benchmark that we can match to make sure our buildings perform the way they were designed over their life. So the college achieves its energy standards and its cost savings over the life of the building. And lastly, with those submeters, water. So we are doing the same thing with energy as we are doing with water across the district. Using new submeters and working with the city of Santa Rosa, we've identified a number of leaks through the Santa Rosa campus. Some are as big as 200 to 300 gallons an hour. And so we are expecting to find them within the next month using leak detection efforts. And fix them, and expect to save more than 10% of our annual water use just through leak detection.
Thank you, David. And lastly, just want to share with you that we are getting ready for next year's, or rather this year's annual report. This is the timeline that we'll be working on, with the goal to issue the report to Sonoma's taxpayers in January of 2023. So right before our next meeting, we'll be reaching out to all the stakeholders to start the updates and developing the report for this year. Any questions?
I have a question on one of the big expenditures on the revenue and expenses, the cogeneration plant replacement. What is that? And then also, what is the Petaluma chiller? That was $634,000.
Okay, I'll let David actually respond to both of those.
Yeah, the cogeneration plant replacement has to do with the new Quinn Central plant. So at the beginning of my slides, there was a new building with a glass facade. That used to be an old cogeneration plant that actually caught on fire. I believe it was 2014. And that provided all the heating and cooling for a large number of buildings, including all the pools. And so the college we had to replace that building and the heating and cooling systems that were within. And then the Petaluma chiller, that had to do with fixing a brand new chiller at the Petaluma campus, as well as its associated chilled water lines that were leaking as they go out to the different buildings.
So is a chiller like a AC unit?
Yes, it's a giant AC unit, and it provides chilled water that we pump to different buildings to cool them.
Thanks.
Seraphin, the auditorium in Petaluma, kind of close to my heart. No renovations, no fixes on that auditorium down there?
We haven't invested in physical upgrades to the auditorium since it was part of last bond program. However, we did invest in equipment upgrades. So there is a brand new movie projector that's been installed in the tech room on that facility.
Okay, all right. Not hearing any other questions. Thank you, Seraphin, appreciate it.
You're welcome.
It appears that we've completed the agenda.
Yes.
Are there any last questions, comments before we adjourn?
Just like to ask who is going to get back to Mr. Vonderpoorten? I know there's a board policy on naming buildings. That should be an easy one, but in regards to the foundation building also.
Yes, we will address both of the comments that he made, and we will prepare those responses to get back to you.
But I think, Rick, wouldn't you like to know what the answers to those were, or is that just something?
They will actually go through this committee.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Any other comments, questions? Not seeing any, I'd take a motion to adjourn the meeting 4:41.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
All right. And a second?
Second that.
All right. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 And it appears the ayes have it. The nays. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. It's always a pleasure, and thank you for allowing me to serve you another year. I appreciate that.
Good job, everybody.
Thank you, Greg.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Thank you.
You guys have a good and take care. Be safe, please.
Be safe.
Bye-bye.